Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the Season Keepers, the show where the only two people we recommend keeping for the season is us. My name's Matt, aka Clean Sheet Wipeout.
My name's James, aka FPL Drug.
How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. In Twitter jail at the moment. Got my account suspended.
You fucking dickhead.
I wasn't even insulting anyone. Just the official FPL account. Having a bit of a go after White's assist wasn't added. It was Martinelli.
Yep.
So yeah, hopefully I'll get unsuspended soon. That's not happened to me before.
Brilliant, yeah. So anybody that's watching on YouTube and you can see at FPL Drug, if you search him, you can't speak to him. Yeah, there's a lot of that going around though, isn't there? You know, obviously with the kind of monkey emojis and stuff, that seems to be one of the algorithms. And yeah, I think you've been caught out with the abusive algorithm there.
Looks like it.
Well, let's get on to FPL then, and you can take your mind off the fact that you can't scroll through Twitter endlessly. It's probably a good thing, to be honest. Right, first things first, and an absolute cracker of a game to start the game week. It was Watford 0, Liverpool 5.
Yeah, brilliant game. A little bit disappointed in Watford in this game. Just a lack of effort from the beginning, really.
Yeah.
Weren't really chasing things down. For a new manager performance, it was particularly bad. You'd normally expect them to be a bit like kind of out to prove a point, like the spirits are up, but really wasn't the case. And obviously, what a fantastic goal scored by Mo Salah. Fantastic.
I feel like we're saying this
World
week in,
class.
week out, aren't we? Like another one where he literally puts, three defenders on the floor, puts it back under his left foot, and almost chips it into the far corner. It was a glorious goal. Most of us cheered in the pub because I was going to the Saints game, so we're kind of watching this game beforehand, and I think everybody in the pub were like, "Whoa, like fair play!" You know, it was one of those goals that you just have to applaud.
Yeah, sensational. And another surprise in this game was a hat trick for Firmino.
Yeah, and an assist. I mean, he got an absolute hole. I think he.
Nearly topped 100
I was
BPS.
going to say he hit 99, didn't he? Is that the maximum that you can hit?
I think you can exceed it, but it
Okay.
doesn't happen often.
No, I
I
was
think
going
it's
to
happened
say.
only a couple of times.
I think it deserved it.
Probably Aguero at Newcastle, maybe something like that.
It wouldn't. Yeah, true with his five, wasn't it? Yeah, back in the day. Yeah, I mean Firmino, obviously for Jota owners, it was probably frustrating to see Bobby start in
Oh
his
God, yeah.
position, and then yeah, get a hat trick. But he was in the right place at the right time, and it's not to say Jota would have been there. Like we don't know, but yeah, all three of Firmino's goals was essentially capitalizing on crosses or the rebound from obviously the shot that was deflected back to Foster. Had the defender there not touched it, again, it's another one of those dubious offside decisions that he defends the fact that Salah is behind him, even though Salah's offside, and because he's interfered, Firmino's then played onside, and yeah, I think that's probably a frustrating one for Watford. But like you said, I think they were completely outclassed, and it's not what Ranieri would have expected from his first game in charge, particularly at home.
No, definitely work to be done. It'd be interesting to see how they bounce back from this one.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess the other thing of note before we move on was the fact that I think Jurgen Klopp deemed that I think they were 3-0 up come 60 odd minutes. He thought, game's over, and he took Trent and Robbo off. Obviously gave them a bit of a rest. Champions League coming up this week, and then the game, so I wouldn't be too worried. It's probably the ideal opportunity to get a bit of minutes into a few others. Nicky Williams came on, got himself an assist in the end there, but yeah, probably good to see the likes of Trent get a bit of a rest given the fixture pile up that's coming up.
Definitely.
Right, moving on to wow, this game was crazy. I watched on Match of the Day, and I couldn't believe the score after checking my phone. 15 minutes to go. Aston Villa were winning 2-0. Checked my phone at the end of the Saints game. Aston Villa 2, Wolves 3.
Yeah, sensational comeback from Wolves. One I didn't see coming. The game sort of went as I thought it was going to go,
Yeah,
up until a point, obviously, where Wolves came back into it, and obviously a goal for Danny Ings doing what he does best. Decent goal.
a good finish.
Yeah, good finish. So I expect more of that from him. But yeah, what a beautiful comeback.
They just seem to put Villa under so much pressure from what I seen on Match of the Day. It was almost like the last 10, 12 minutes. They kind of, they got a few corners, they were putting a few crosses into the box, and Villa just seemed to fall under the pressure, even though they were at the home crowd. And obviously, when Wolves scored their first, they kind of quickly grabbed the ball, ran up. They scored their second, and the fans went nuts. Obviously, they ran over, celebrated with the fans. And yeah, I can imagine, obviously, when Ruben Neves' deflected free kick goes in, what an away day that would have been.
Yeah, I think someone lost a shoe. I saw a Twitter post from the official account where with a picture
Brilliant.
of a shoe.
Fantastic.
Oh dear.
But yeah,
Yeah, no, two goals from defenders as well.
yeah, Cody and Size.
Cody stabbing one away and a decent finish from Size as well.
Yeah, Cody doesn't get many, does he? But when he does, it seems to be those kind of capitalizing on, kind of crosses that have come across the box or deflections and whatnot. And yeah, he was there. He kind of comes off. It almost took him by surprise from what I've seen. But you'll take it, won't you?
Yeah, definitely, and I think that'll be a big boost for Wolves' confidence this season.
Yeah, definitely. And I think they need it. I think they're slowly growing Wolves on me, and their fixtures are quite nice. I guess are probably up until game week 15 now. So the likes of your Codys and whatnot defensively, if you're still on them, you could probably hold. Jimenez was probably the main one there that missed out. Came on for 5 minutes, but I think it was mainly down to the fact he had been away with Mexico. Came back quite late, so I can imagine he'll be starting again at the weekend, and I wouldn't be too worried. And those that are obviously on Huang as well, I think there's been a few people that have gambled on him, and I think at his price, he's definitely worth keeping for the foreseeable.
Agreed.
Right, moving on to a game that we all expected goals, and probably expected the result. To be honest, it was Leicester 4, Manchester United 2.
Yeah, a bit of a crazy one. Obviously United getting it back to 2-2. With not much left in the game, in fairness, but Leicester then go on to win and even score a fourth.
Yeah,
It's yeah, very very impressive performance from Leicester. Iheanacho starting again,
yep.
got an assist. Vardy just doesn't seem to be able to stop at the moment.
Oh, he's just continuing, isn't he? Seven
I
goals this
thought,
season.
yeah, this is where I thought maybe the run would start to get a bit tougher for him. Like United, obviously, Brentford have been playing well, Arsenal coming up as well. But based on this performance, it's probably just going to keep carrying on. We know what he's like. He went on that run where he broke a record and scored the most consecutive
Yeah.
goals in the Premier League. I wouldn't be surprised to see this run continue.
No, genuinely, if you're on him, looking at the fixture ticker now, the only fixture I think he may struggle to score in will be that Chelsea game. We know how good Chelsea are defensively, but all the way up to Boxing Day before they play Man City, and it's Man City Liverpool, I think you'd hold Vardy. And even then, if you are on him, there's a reason why you're on him, and he's continuing to score goals. It's only two tough fixtures there. Then they go play Norwich, Burnley, and Brighton. So, pardon the pun, but if you are on him, does he become more of a season keeper?
Potentially, yeah. Yeah, I think even in good fixtures, I think if they're playing strong teams, they're going to have counter-attacking opportunities, and
Yeah,
that's perfect for the ball over the top for Vardy to run onto. And while he's still got his pace, I think he's going to be a big threat and a great player to have.
agreed. Yeah, and I think Schmeichel came out and said that they've changed their system, and obviously it's working a lot better for them. And the fact that Ian Archer obviously is now kind of up top with Vardy, and they've got the number 10 in behind. I think it was Madison this time round. See, Tielemans played exceptionally well, got himself the 3 bonus. I thought Greenwood's goal was good, but then when I saw Tielemans afterwards, what a finish that was.
Yeah, very very good goal. I don't think many in the community or in the game are on Tielemans,
Nah,
which I can kind of understand because he tends to be more of a sort of a supporter, a defender, as opposed to a out and out goal scorer. But he has been known to pop up with a decent goal or even an assist
yeah,
every now and again.
he's a very good Sky player, and obviously if you listen to the Sky podcast,
Yes,
we'll probably talk about him.
definitely.
I guess with Leicester, you probably won't touch them defensively because they're always looking a little bit partial to conceding a few goals. But Man United, they seem to be struggling at the moment, don't they? And if you're on Ronaldo, you're probably looking to move off. If you've got Luke Shaw, why are you still holding him? And then looking at the fixtures, doesn't really get much better until game week 15, which is obviously, I think, when we're probably targeting to jump back on Man United. I'm going to have to see a real upturn in form before I even go for the likes of Ronaldo again, because at the moment it's just not paying off.
No, they've not looked good at all. And yeah, those next three are particularly tough. City, Tottenham, Liverpool. It doesn't get much tougher, really.
No,
Um, but and at 12.5 million, obviously us Ronaldo owners are gonna want something for that. So I feel like I've got a real big decision to make. I think I either bid him off now for these next three, or I just keep him because I think after if I bid him, I think it'd be too late if we've only got one more tough fixture. I think you might as well hold him. But
who's your strikers?
so I'm on Antonio, Lukaku, and Ronaldo.
It's tricky. I'd probably downgrade Ronaldo and then use the funds elsewhere.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking about. Downgrade Ronaldo to Vardy.
Vardy would be a very good shout.
Maybe even just pocket the cash. But
Would you consider Iheanacho over Vardy, given he's 7 million?
potentially, I mean, that may allow me to get, say, Son in
Mm,
midfield.
yeah,
Um, I've got two free transfers, so I'm going to be tossing it over in my head right up until I think it's Friday, the deadline.
yeah. Deadline's a
Bloody
Friday deadline
Friday.
this week. I know the Arsenal Aston Villa game, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to be tossing it over in my head. But yeah, defenders, what get them out as fast as you can. I'm sure you
Yeah,
already have, to be honest.
yeah. It could have been a lot worse given David De Gea made 7 saves.
Impressive.
Right, moving on then to a fixture which was full of rotation. We saw, Ruben Diaz rested, Grealish rested. Um, it didn't really stop Man City. They still came away with a win, although it wasn't the 5-0 for the fifth year in a row. It was Man City 2, Burnley 0.
Yeah, a bit of a shock. Team selection wise, I think those on Diaz might be a bit annoyed because he sort of had this reputation as playing basically every game.
Mm.
But I think even he can get rotated by Pep. No one's immune.
No,
Maybe
no,
not even Edison.
exactly. Like Edison and Jesus obviously missed out because I think Pep basically said that they'd played for Brazil. It was far too soon to bring them back in, which meant so many people I seen on Twitter were punting on Mahrez, obviously on wildcard, and people missed out on the like to Foden. Obviously got himself an assist, but turns out the player that you want to be on is Bernardo Silva. He's a man on form at the moment. He's looking particularly impressive, albeit it's not pulling up amazing FPL returns. He's got a 10-pointer in there and obviously picked up 11 points against Burnley, but I think he's been Man City's standout midfielder aside from, say, De Bruyne in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, he's been playing very well, which has allowed him to sort of keep his place in the team. Really. Do you get on him? I don't know. Um,
It's a tough one. It,
yeah,
it, it, it feels weird given they were looking to sell him in the summer. Like they were looking to move him on. And now, ever since probably, well, he came in against Norwich, didn't he? He didn't play the first game against Spurs, kind of only played 57 against Arsenal. But since then, he's been prolific in that midfield. And I think he's almost become essential to the way that they're playing. It's just the tenacity in which he plays in the style of football. He just constantly goes at people and constantly tries to take them on. And he's got skills. Like that man, he's a brilliant player. I think he would genuinely walk into any other Premier League team if Man City were to get rid.
oh yeah, I'd agree with that. Like, I think he'd be probably Arsenal's best midfielder if he just went to Arsenal.
Yeah, yeah. It's not hard.
Well, yeah, I was thinking that. Who else is there?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, a good player, but a bit of a punt, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously those that went for Foden, like you got the assist there. I think we're going to see rotation in this midfield constantly anyway. You've got obviously Jesus, Grealish, Sterling, Foden, Mahrez. There's only so many places they can fill. I think seeing the lineups tonight for the Champions League, we're recording just as that kicks off. I think it's Foden, Grealish, and Mahrez are the front three. So obviously Sterling's got a rest tonight, and so is Jesus. So You're probably looking at a bit of rotation again at the weekend. Who knows which one's going to play?
No, yeah, exactly.
Right, jumping on to a game that I didn't expect it to finish 0-0, to be honest, and there's probably not a lot to talk about other than the fact that there was 8 yellow cards. It was Norwich 0, Brighton 0.
Yeah, a bit of a dull affair in terms of actual returns for players. Obviously, a lot of people may still be on Sanchez. It's
Yeah,
another clean
yeah,
sheet for you. You'd take that all day long. And his run after the next two does look look okay. In fairness, for
yeah.
Brighton.
It does. Yeah, if you're
So
holding.
yeah, so if you're holding, I think you might as well stay, keep your transfer. But Norwich really need to see some more from them.
Yeah, he just won't go near them.
No, no, you're not even thinking about them. You're not even looking at the players you could get
No,
because it's not worth your time. I don't
exactly.
think there's too much I can add to that.
Nah, nah. I think genuinely we just say goodbye to that fixture and move on to a game that I attended, and it was
Hey,
Southampton 1, Leeds 0. We finally got a win.
yeah, very impressed with us.
Played well.
Surprised as well. I know obviously Leeds didn't have Rafinha, which
Yeah,
so that made me a little bit more hopeful, but I still expected us to maybe struggle. I definitely expected us to concede, so it's a nice surprise for us to get a clean sheet. Obviously, those on Livramento will be very happy. What a bargain he's been.
oh, I know.
And Brozier looking very good player, and obviously Armstrong missing out. A
Yeah,
lot of people in the community are wondering who's going to be starting, and
like the amount
maybe I
of
can put that question to you.
the amount of DMs I've had this week is unbelievable. Honestly, I load my messages, and obviously, like these people have started to follow me and whatnot, and then I've got say 20 message requests. I go on it, and they're all asking the same question: "What's up with Adam Armstrong?" And I'm well, honestly, in my opinion, I think Brozier was selected. I don't know what goes on in training, but I think Brozier was probably selected for both his aerial presence and his strength up top. And Redmond has been impressive recently, and I think Hasenhüttl really likes him. He's trying to. He's a player that plays with confidence, and if he's getting a good run in the team, and if he's performing well, then it will carry on. But I think it was quite clear that Brozier was in there for his aerial ability, given the amount of times obviously Leeds have conceded from set pieces. We all speak about it, but the amount of flick-ons he was getting at corners. Obviously, Redmond was taking the corners with Prowsey missing out. He'd be getting the flick on at the near post, and we should have scored twice. There was one where he got the flick on. El Yanusi was at the back post, diving header, and just missed it. There was another one where he got the flick on himself, and we thought it was dropping bottom corner, and it just went wide. So I genuinely think that was why he was picked. Yeah, the lineup took me by surprise when I saw that Adam Armstrong wasn't there, given Che Adams obviously was out injured. But I think it was understandable, and Brozier kept going. He took quite a heavy knock when he scored. Obviously, brilliant break. Gineppo played Redmond through. He just sprints down the line. Brozier's running with him, and then just cuts it across, and he's effectively got a tap in, but he fucking smashed it. And he collided with Meslier, took quite a heavy knock, was down, and he took another knock, and the game went down, and eventually he subbed off, like limped off. But it's worth keeping an eye on because I think if he's declared fit for the weekend, probably expect him to start again, given it's Burnley. And we all know, Burnley's defensive line quite strong. You probably want that strength and area ability. For the pace and goal scoring ability that Adam Armstrong's got, I think Brozier's got it as well. So I would not
Yeah, and he's a million cheaper.
exactly. I would not be surprised to see Brozier and Redmond up top. And maybe the only change I'd make for the Burnley game would be Gineppo dropping out again, and I'd probably like to see Stuart Armstrong start because he came on and he looked good. So you'd probably see Armstrong move to, I think, the right wing, and then El Yanusi switched back over because I think again El Yanusi played well, could have scored, but I think that would be the only change I'd make, honestly.
So do you think Armstrong misses out again?
Well, the more I think about it, the more likely I think it is. The only other way I could see it was maybe Redmond's given a rest, but he's a player that plays on form, like I've said, and he's had a few rests this season. Obviously, he didn't start the season at all. It was on to game week 4. I think he got his first start. Picked up his first assist of the season this week, but Hasenhüttl likes him, even when he's not providing FPL returns. He plays a role in that squad, and yeah, I think it's probably likely that we put forward a very similar lineup. So it's tough. We've spoken about this before, haven't we? We've said that there's going to be rotation amongst our forwards and our midfielders because we've effectively got 9 players trying to fill 4 slots.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's tough to call. I mean, if Brozier gets a run, 5 million, like you'd be having him, wouldn't you?
I don't think you drop him after that game.
Nah, not
He's
unless
been
he's
playing
injured.
well. So I'd imagine, yeah, exactly. Depends on his fitness, but I imagine he'll play.
Yeah, agreed. And it was great to see him get his first goal. But yeah, the kid looks lively, and we all know what Livramento offers. I think again he had an exceptional game, and another one we probably won't go to him, but Salisu I thought was brilliant. It's only fair I quickly mention Leeds. They were awful.
Yeah, I think they're missing Rafinha and Bamford
Yeah,
in particular.
Rafinha, Bamford, and Calvin Phillips. Like Phillips, without Phillips in that midfield, they were poor. They just didn't get going. I mean, I think they had one shot on target in the game. It's not something you see often with Leeds. And I listened to Planet FPL earlier, and it turns out Saints were the only team to outrun a Leeds team without them having a man sent off. And that doesn't surprise me because we were at it.
Good to see.
Right, we're not just a dedicated Saints podcast. I suppose we better move on. It was Brentford 0, Chelsea 1.
Now, this game, I think obviously Mendy is worth shouting out. Fantastic, kept them in the game.
Yeah.
Save after save. Brentford were piling on the pressure onto Chelsea. It was
unbelievable,
relentless. It was like Chelsea were the little team and Brentford were a Real Madrid.
I've no idea how Chelsea didn't, how Brentford didn't score.
Yeah, and Bremo hit the woodwork again. He's hit it 6
6
times now.
times.
It's if I owned him, I'd be pretty frustrated. I'd be happy as well because he's been playing well.
He has,
and yeah, he could be someone I'd potentially move Conor Gallagher to.
Yeah, be a good shout.
It's a move I've been eyeing up, but
I'm very
whether I do that, I don't know.
Very tempted by Mbeumo. He's such a lively player, and obviously he's consistently playing up there with Tony, and he seems to be the one that's getting the chances. And yeah, like you said, hit the woodwork 6 times. I think the closest other players hit the woodwork once, so it says it all. Ben Chilwell obviously got another start ahead of Alonso and got another goal, and very good goal as well.
Yeah, it's just picking up where Alonso left off, really.
Yeah.
Both good going forward. So whichever one they do play seems to return. So if you're on Chilwell, then yeah, that's great. Those on Alonso, maybe you could kind of go sideways to Chilwell.
Yeah.
Normally a move that you'd not suggest, but I think in this case, I think it's worth it.
Exactly. Obviously, keep an eye on the Champions League this week because say Chilwell gets another 90 minutes in that, I wouldn't be surprised to see Alonso rotated back in, given it's Norwich at the weekend. That's the only doubt I'd have. And with Tuchel, I think it's becoming it's Tuchel Tombola, very similar to Pep Roulette. You just don't know which player they're going to pick because we had assumed with Antonio Rudiger obviously being out, we thought that Azpilicueta would be the one that fills in the middle there, and it would be Aspie and Reece James out as right wing back. Turns out, even when Rudiger's out, Aspie still played right wing back, and Sarr came in to the middle there with Chalobah and Christensen, and in fairness, had a bloody good game by all accounts. So Reece James owners, I think you can probably rightly feel a bit aggrieved in what he came on for the last 5-10 minutes. It must be frustrating given the clean sheet was there.
Yeah, definitely. I think Rudiger is the one to sort of go for in these circumstances, but I think Aspie equally is a great pick as well.
Agreed, yeah. And I suppose the other thing that we should touch on before we move on is Lukaku. Been a frustrating player to have recently, hasn't he? And
big time, yeah.
The reason that we're holding him is for these next 3 fixtures. I don't like what Tuchel said in his press conference today, in the fact that he thinks Lukaku has played too many games over the summer,
Oh,
and
fuck off.
the fact that he's oh you've not seen these comments, have you? So yeah,
No.
the fact that he's played too many games over the summer, he was a little annoyed that he also played the Nations League, and he also thinks that he's mentally tired. If Lukaku plays against Malmo in the Champions League, I am 95% sure he gets rested against Norwich.
Oh, fuck that. No,
Yeah,
this is what we're hoping for. We're waiting for is the Norwich game.
exactly.
So
I'm worried.
that would be devastating. I think I
Yeah,
can't take him out though. Even
nah,
if the rumours are there, it would kill me to see him go and score 2, 3 goals against Norwich.
it's frustrating though because I mean, if he plays 90 minutes against Malmo, I might take the risk and move him on. I mean,
Jeez.
it sounds crazy, but to have a player like Lukaku then sat on your bench with the possibility of coming on for one pointer when you could go to a Harry Kane,
Mm.
a Jamie Vardy, you know, the options are there. Yes, it's Newcastle and Burnley after that, but what's to say that Lukaku's going to go on this brilliant run? I'm yet to see a game in which I feel he's going to score two or three.
That's a fair point. There's no guarantee he scores against Norwich, but yeah, I won't be taking him out. I'll just be angry when it happens.
Yeah, if he doesn't play against Malmo, I think he's a dead cert for captaincy. But one to keep an eye on. It just took me by surprise. Moving on to Sunday's games then. First things first, it was Everton 0, West Ham 1.
Yeah, an interesting game. David Moyes getting the upper hand over Benitez. A great goal from the set piece.
Yeah,
I think it was a corner. Yeah, Ogbonna header. He has been known to sort of do that. Bowen assist, and Bowen, I had a little cheeky look at yesterday. He's been on a bit of a run, so he's had 3 assists in the last 4, and also scored.
yep,
Um,
playing
so
well.
if yeah, very very well, and at 6.3 million, that's it's a pretty good player to have. I think um, the fixtures aren't great. It's Spurs at home, Villa away, Liverpool at home, but they always tend to do well against Spurs. And Villa's not the worst fixture in the world. And then after that, you've got kind of Liverpool and then Wolves. But I think there's potential returns in there for
Yeah,
him. And I don't think many people will be on him either.
nah, he's only owned by 1% of the game. But yeah, what 6.3 million? He's certainly an option if you're willing to take that risk. I guess the main talking point from this is Everton seem to be struggling without see Calvert Lewin and Richarlison. And then the news came out today. I think initially people thought it was going to be potentially a season ender, but it sounds like Decore's maybe out for 6 to 8 weeks with a metatarsal injury. And I think he's going to be a big miss in that midfield. So I just don't think things are particularly looking great. Benitez said in his presser that Richarlison's close, but DCL's still got a little bit of a way to go. So yeah, for me, I'd be staying away from Everton assets at the moment. And in fairness, the fixtures probably until after Christmas aren't that great either. They kind of rotate in between quite tough games with the odds. Palace, but they proved yesterday that they're a good game. I think, yeah, wouldn't go near Everton until Boxing Day, which is when their fixtures turn for the better all the way through till mid-February. And that's maybe when you can reassess the likes of Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I'm very happy that I don't own Luca Digne anymore.
I bet you are. Right, jumping on to the penultimate game of the week and the first game with the Saudi regime in charge of Newcastle. What a game it was as well, albeit it was kind of marred by a postponement during the game, which we'll touch on, but it was Newcastle 2, Spurs 3.
Yeah, obviously got off to a great start. Fantastic goal from Callum Wilson, great
Two
header.
minutes. 2 minutes.
Yes, straight into the game. The ground from the beginning was rocking. The
Yeah.
atmosphere was amazing. Like you could just, even though I was watching on TV, you could just feel the atmosphere. The fans are happy. They've got their club back.
Yeah, big time.
They're they're buzzing, and the ground just the roof came off when Wilson scored that goal. And it's a shame they did go on to lose the game.
Yeah, they kind of
Really,
capitulated,
but
didn't they?
yeah, a little bit. But perhaps maybe we've seen Harry Kane come back into himself. I guess. I mean, he never really did lose it. He just kind of I don't know, just was unlucky, I guess. He had his chances, he just wasn't putting them
Yeah,
in previous games.
I think the change in formation has really helped Spurs. They looked particularly impressive in the cup against Wolves. They looked really good against Villa, obviously last game week, and again, yeah, they got the knockback with conceding the early goal, but they looked to dominate the game for long periods, and probably should have scored more. They created chances. Kane himself getting the goal and the assist. It was it was an amusing goal because obviously he scores, he's flagged offside, he's fuck it, fine. And then VAR checks it and he's been played onside. So I guess if you're gonna get yourself off the mark, that's the way to do it. And it feels weird, but yeah, 8 game weeks in, and Kane finally gets his first goal and in his first assist of the season.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. We'll have to see a bit more of that before we consider him up there with Ronaldo replacements.
Yeah, for
If
sure.
we are getting rid of them.
Agreed. Yeah, and I guess the other thing is Son owners probably feel a bit aggrieved because
Oh yeah, big time.
obviously the talk was the fact that he had COVID. Turns out it was a false positive. He then tested negative twice, travelled, and then scored. And I saw a lot of people have him in their wild cards, take him out, or people that were taking -4s because they had brought him in to then take him out again. And harsh because yeah, he then picks up a 9-pointer.
Yeah, that's horrible. But you can't account for that. You
No, you
can't
can't.
predict that. So sad. But also a great goal from Ndombele as well. It's
Yeah,
worth
very
mentioning.
very good goal. Very good goal indeed. Right, moving on then to the final game of the week, and I really enjoyed this game. It was far better than what I thought it would be on a Monday night. It was Arsenal 2, Crystal Palace 2.
Yeah, it was a very good game. Just not for the players I own. So I went into this game with four players.
You
Four
did, yeah.
players. I was expecting a decent return from this, but I don't think I got much at all. I got two from Ramsdale, one from Ben White.
0 from
Probably
Saka.
got zero from Saka and two from Gallagher. So
Harsh.
5 points from
Harsh.
four is just yeah, bullshit.
Yeah, it's
I
not
can
what you
thank
want.
James McArthur for kicking the shit out of Saka.
Oh, I know. Red card.
Um,
100% a red card challenge.
yeah, absolutely nowhere near the ball. He
No.
can't even claim to be going for the ball. He
Yeah.
knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Did you see his
And
reaction, obviously, to Saka afterwards? It was almost as if to say, like, I didn't touch you.
I
It's
didn't know,
fucking
but
ridiculous.
doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, he's such a cunt. Sorry.
Yeah, no. So this game was very frustrating for me. I thought for the majority of the game, I thought I was going to be on for a double clean sheet with
Mm,
Arsenal.
yeah.
But then yeah, Benteke out of there, credit to him,
Yeah, good goal.
great finish, very good finish, and Edouard absolutely smashes it in.
Oh, he did. Yeah, what a break that was. Obviously, Gallagher
Yeah,
then playing it to Elise that came on, plays it through to Edouard, and yeah, does the rest. And I think it was deserved, honestly. If Palace had won it, I mean, I thought Arsenal were lucky to get the goal at the end there. If Palace had won, I think it probably wasn't undeserved. They played very well and they grew back into the game. And I've actually been really impressed with Palace under Vieira recently, and he's doing a good job.
yeah, really good job. I felt a bit sorry for him actually.
Yeah, so did I. Right. I think that sums up the game week. So should we quickly touch on our teams before we finish up?
Yeah, a 54 for me, so just a bit above average. A small green arrow. Saka obviously disappointing on 0, White on 1. But Salah captaincy was the sort of mainstay
Yeah.
for me, and the sort of clean sheets across the back: Cancelo, Christensen, Livramento. It was an okay week.
Yeah, it's not bad. I think clean sheets at the back is probably the talking point this week because I had 5 6-pointers defensively
Very
this week.
nice.
Cancelo, Robbo, Aspie, Alexander Arneson, and then obviously Livramento came on for a 6-pointer when Rafinha didn't turn up. So it was 30 points across the back there, and then Salah with 26. The others did fuck all. Ended up with 65. So it's a green arrow up to 22k. I'll definitely take that. I'm undecided what to do next week for. I think I've got one free transfer, but I probably want to wait till after the Champions League games before making a decision because I'm looking at Mbuemo, could be an option. I might look to take Robertson out because I'm on the Robbo Trent double up, paid off this week. Can't really say it paying off in weeks to come. I think it's a tough one. So yeah, keep an eye on Twitter, and I might be asking you guys a few questions.
Interesting.
Right. Well, I think that sums up the FPL pod this week. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it, and once again, apologies that we didn't get the one out last week because of audio issues, but should fingers crossed have this one. Beautiful audio, beautiful faces on YouTube, and hopefully a beautiful game week to come. And on that note, it's a goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
Cheers, guys.